Charlie Walden, welcome to Get Up in the Cool.
Get up in the cool. Yeah, I'm always up in the cool, man.
Yeah,
You know that.
always. Or,
People are always saying that about me.
Yeah, your Get Up in the Cool persona, though, is Charlie Walden.
That's right. Baldini.
Baldini.
Flying Baldinis. That was our family
Baldinis.
came over here originally. It's the Flying Baldinis.
So, when I put out the call on Facebook, Who Should I Record in Chicago, Hillary Burhans, who I think is an extremely credible source for humor and musical taste, said, you got to get Charlie on, and you are. So thanks.
Here we are.
Thanks so much.
Sure. Yeah. No, Hillary's a great player. I love playing with her. She's a blast.
Yeah, I love playing banjo duets with her, and I don't say that about everyone.
Hillary, remember all the good stuff we're saying about you. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
So, I don't know when you're putting this on, but we just finished Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
How was your Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was very good. It was more of a Friendsgiving
Yeah,
situation.
right. That's good.
Yeah. I cut my hand open
Oh, crap.
making the turkey. It was my first turkey that I did by myself.
First carve?
Yeah, I was the grandma of this Thanksgiving situation.
Oh, man.
And I carved myself. It had that personal touch.
What a drag.
little personal seasoning.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, I always eat too much. You ever see these nature shows where the anaconda
eats you hibernate for 6 months.
Eats like a goat and there's this big lump,
Yeah.
That's what my colon looks like.
Very good. Yeah. I don't know if that's going to inform your playing at all. It doesn't seem to be slowing you down.
No, but I will say, given that it's about 48 hours since then, if I have to get up suddenly, it's because it's all working.
Good to know. So, take us on the journey. Did you grow up in Missouri?
I grew up in Missouri.
Very good.
Central Missouri. I was born up in northwest Missouri, but I grew up around Columbia, a little town called Hallsville, Missouri. Hey, let's give a shout out to the 600 residents of Hallsville, Missouri.
Yeah, I've got about half of them at this point in my listenership. I
Good.
got to get the other half. Maybe this will seal the deal.
This will do it, yeah.
Crazy about podcasts in Hallsville. So, did you start playing fiddle then?
I started playing when I was maybe late, or kind of early teenager, 12, 13.
Did you play anything before that?
Well, I played in band all the time. I started playing the accordion when I was 8. My mother and father bought a nice accordion and thought I should learn to play the accordion. And now, I still, like every fool, I wish I was still playing it.
Right.
But I didn't like it then, I'd die to be able to play the accordion. Right
Yeah.
Because there's nothing cooler.
The things that are cool when you're a kid versus the things that are cool when you're an adult are...
Right, and who knows that the accordion would make the fabulous comeback that it has,
It certainly has.
Or maybe it hasn't.
Yeah, well, Weird Al brought it back for everyone.
But yeah, so I played in band in high school.
What did you play in band?
The tuba.
I played tuba in band as well.
Yeah.
I did. I played
the sousaphone.
I also
the
did that.
wraparound thing.
I'm still recovering, back and spine wise from marching
it's
band.
really heavy. They always give the little guy the tuba too.
Yeah.
I played tuba, and in marching band I played the bass drum, which wasn't any better.
Yeah.
Really, and I wasn't.
It's
a big
slightly
kid.
more ergonomic.
Perhaps.
Because it's symmetrical.
Yeah, right. It's
Yeah.
not. You're not having to hold it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I kind of learned to read music and got interested in music generally. But there were some guys around. There was a guy named John White, actually who just passed away. A really good friend of mine. He was in his 80s and now. But when I was a kid, his wife was the home ec teacher at our school, and John worked for the University of Missouri. He was a really good square dance fiddler, and all he learned was playing square dances when he was a kid.
Yeah.
So he was the first guy I actually heard. And he sent me to a guy in Columbia named Taylor McBain. And Taylor was an electrician at the University of Missouri, but he was a fiddler. All the guys I learned to play from, none of them were pros. They were all, they had a day job and they played the fiddle for fun. Although the fiddle was their all-consuming passion. So
Right.
It wasn't like it was a hobby necessarily. It's like they were ate up with playing fiddle music.
Now, when you learned the fiddle, so you were learning from someone who just did dance music.
Right.
My experience so far with Midwestern fiddlers, well, first of all, I gotta say, as a banjo player, you ever hear people say, oh, my cat's so funny, she thinks she's a dog. I'm the banjo player, this banjo player is so funny, he thinks he's a fiddler. I love playing notes, but whenever I play with a Midwestern fiddler, I'm just humbly reminded, you are not a fiddler. You are a banjo player. Because they always play so fast, and they play so many notes, and they play it a little bit differently every time. It's been my experience so far. Playing with you, playing with Chirps, playing with John Lane, and I have to turn off my trying to match you note for note, and I have to actually play my instrument, which is good for me.
Right.
But that leads me to think what is the education of these Midwestern fiddlers who sound so pure on every note is really clean, and I know I feel like if I slowed it down I could just really cleanly transcribe it. All the tunes feel composed almost sometimes, and it almost feels like there's a more classical education attitude towards Midwestern fiddling than there is towards maybe some of the other traditions. I hear more vibrato in the playing. Can you speak to that at all?
Sure. It's most people I think who are into what we call old-time music or old-timey music, you're thinking of music of the upland South, Virginia, West Virginia, the Carolinas, and that music's very different than what was played in the Midwest. Like the first time I went out to the East, and I thought, I didn't know, it had no common repertoire hardly at all.
Yeah.
And I actually had much more in common with bluegrass fiddlers than I did with those guys. So, I think that kind of music kind of grew up in isolation. No slight or anything, but I think people were poorer out there. It was harder to make a living. They were more isolated. There weren't the big sweeping plains where railroads could run every which way. And out in the Midwest, a lot of what I play, a lot of what the guys I learned from play is very much Victorian era music. And you say it sounds like composed music, a lot of it is.
Right.
You can kind of see a piece of sheet music when someone's playing.
Yeah.
There was a really big book that was published here in Chicago called Cole's 1,000 Fiddle Tunes.
Oh, wow.
It was published by M.M. Cole. It came out in 1938, something like that, 1940. And it spread all over the Midwest because, outfits like Sears and Montgomery Ward who had their catalogs. This was back before you could have Amazon,
Yeah.
You'd get a catalog in the mail and you'd send off an order. Well, these books were in there. Plus, every music store I ever walked in when I was growing up, starting Fiddle was in the 70s, you could find that book in every music store in the Midwest, bar none. And it's actually a reprint of a book called Ryan's Mammoth Collection, which was published in Boston in the 1850s.
And they just went ahead and put a different name on it?
Yeah, they took. In fact, you can take Ryan's Mammoth Collection. Actually, the Cole's book is 8.5 by 11 sheets, kind of tall. It's portrait. The Ryan book is in landscape with half as many tunes. So they took 2 pages of Ryan's and stuck it on, and took these same plates because it was long out of print.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they probably didn't even have to pay for the rights to do that necessarily, because the publishing company was probably long out of business. But so those tunes are from the 1800s, from the Victorian era, and a lot of stuff I play is in that book. I mean, I don't play it exactly right because I didn't learn it off the page, but they're awfully close, really close. There's a lot of tunes played in F and B flat, which there's tons of those in there. So yeah, and that's where that kind of single note playing is all. That's Victorian era influence for sure, And you didn't have that in the upland South, in the East, in Appalachia.
Right.
You didn't have that,
Yeah, it feels more. It feels more rhythmic. It feels more like a drum circle sometimes. Not that this isn't rhythmic. Your playing is obviously very rhythmic,
but it's different.
It doesn't feel polyrhythmic like the upland South.
Right. Yeah, and it's not. And we didn't have the banjo like in Missouri. I knew one banjo player the whole time I was growing up.
Maybe that's why I'm struggling so much.
and they didn't play melody. They played 2 or 3 finger rolls accompaniment. No one ever played melody on the banjo. It was just unheard of. Missouri's not a banjo state.
Interesting.
Everybody who I've ever met plays the banjo. Our guys, I call myself a young guy, I'm not anymore. But guys like Dave Landreth, Dave is. They're guys who learned in the revival. They learned to play banjo in the revival. They didn't learn from somebody local.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, it's funny the associations people have with with the banjo, and it's like most people don't know that it came from like Baltimore, basically, or like that area originally. So
that's where the original manufacturers of
yeah,
I think, right? Yeah.
What is this next tune that we got? We had another D tune. Let me pull it up real quick. Liberty.
Liberty.
Let's play that Liberty.
Yeah, Liberty's a great old tune, and that I consider that part of the American fiddle standard. It's like if you're going to play the fiddle, you got to play Liberty, you got to play Arkansas Traveler.
Yeah.
There's a few of these tunes. This is in that vein. When I was growing up too, we had fiddle contests. There were lots of fiddle contests in Missouri, and always at the end of the contest, it was customary before they announced the prizes and the fist fights would start. They would have everyone come up on stage in a moment of congeniality, and everybody play Liberty, kind of take turns.
Oh, very good.
Liberty. So that's how I got into playing this thing. But it's a good square dance tune. Still serve you in good stead. There at the end, where you start to telegraph the ending.
Yeah.
We've been last few years we've been playing up in Canada a lot, and I met a really cool guy, and he was ill when I met him. He had cancer. The guy's name was Clayton Callahan. He lived over on the coast in New Brunswick, and he was one of the old guys who had played. I don't know if you've heard of Don Messer. Have you heard of Don Messer?
Yeah, I just played this tune for the first time. Don Messer's Breakdown.
Oh, that's a great tune. I love that tune.
It's really cool.
Yeah, well, so there's a whole genre of this, hundreds and hundreds of tunes up there, just in the maritime provinces. But this is like a radio trick, because a lot of those guys play to the radio. So to have this ending lick start like in the last 4 bars instead of just at the end, where you do a little tag that's like you start this end, in the final 4 bars of tunes. It telegraphs to everybody that you're going to quit.
I wonder how early you could start.
Yeah, right.
I'm just going to start at the beginning of it too.
But this guy had like all these, since he played so much at dances and with radio type fiddlers, I'll say, he had one worked out for almost every tune he played.
Interesting.
And it was really cool to
Is it different one for each tune?
Yeah, he had all these different.
It's my Liberty lick.
Right, exactly.
Very good.
Yeah, and that's another big influence on Midwestern fiddling is Canada too, by the way.
Makes sense.
Yeah, because
it's all connected there.
Yeah, well, and I know. Have you heard of a guy named Dwight Lamb?
No, I haven't.
Okay, Dwight's a great fiddler from up in western Iowa. Lives on the Missouri River, a town there on the Missouri River, and he just won the National Heritage Award. In fact, the NEA National Heritage Award. But I've known Dwight for years. He was one of the earliest players I heard, and he knew a lot of Canadian tunes. A lot of guys up there did. Because the Canadian radio broadcasts carry, the ionosphere effect with AM radio, where you can we can pick up a station here in New York City at night when the sun goes down.
Interesting.
Well,
I didn't. You said but I do not.
Yeah,
I'm ignorant about how those work.
Well, that's one of the real. That's something you might want to get into if you're interested in the history of old time music, because all the early radio first station was in 1922 in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. KQK. I can't remember now, but that was one of the earliest radio stations. They were all AM at the time.
Yeah.
And they were all pretty low wattage, like 10,000 watts, 20,000 watts. And I think the station in Jefferson City, Missouri was like 5,000 watts. But at night, you have this ionospheric effect when the sun goes down. And back then there were so few channels, so every channel was what they called a clear channel. There wasn't anything right next to it.
Yeah.
So you could pick up the station in Pittsburgh in Los Angeles.
Wow.
And so old time music.
Only at nighttime.
Only at night. During the day they were restricted to their range. It's a certain effect in the atmosphere.
Wow.
But so as a result of that, a lot of people heard old time music, because old time music was around. There were a lot of people, guys playing traditional music. And so they'd use them on the air because they didn't have record. There weren't even a way to play a record.
Right.
Everything had to be live. So you had all these old time music bands from the East, especially. People were hearing them in the Midwest. People were in the East were hearing fiddlers playing in in Jefferson City, Missouri, playing all over the place. So that's when things really started to cook with people, with music getting shared around.
That's crazy. You're talking about like the internet right now.
It's
like very. That's so bizarre. I guess the old time community talks so much about like, old reels and like the physical thing, not the tune. Like tape and 78s and wax cylinders and all. I dug this up at this library, or like I bought this at this garage sale. Mm-hmm. It hadn't even occurred to me that there was this whole other ephemeral, but not incarnate, sharing of information that was happening, especially like that broad, like.
Yeah, I mean, it went to everybody indiscriminately,
Man. That's so bizarre.
So Dwight, this guy and I was telling you about, told me, has had stories about, he'd be out driving around, come home, be colder than three kinds of hell, in the January up there, and he'd pull in his driveway and he'd be listening to the CBC, and some good tune had come on, and so he'd sit there freezing in his car listening to this tune, and then run inside,
hold it in his head,
get his fiddle and try to play it,
Oh man, that's some folk process right there.
Yeah. I think it's a whole thing that's not well documented, not well understood.
Yeah, because how could you?
It was transmitted.
Because then it was gone forever.
Yeah.
You can keep records of this. Yeah.
Right, or you'd have to be there Saturday night to hear the Don Messer program or whoever was playing.
Right.
And WSM, WSM in Nashville, the Grand Ole Opry.
Yes.
They were one of the early stations too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so they were pumping out the early country music all over the country in the mid-20s. For the first time, people were hearing, whoa, what is this hillbilly music?
Right. Very cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it's like the internet in a way, too.
Yeah.
It's like turning a tap, switching the radio on. Here comes all this stuff suddenly you never heard before.
Except for then it gets to go away. As opposed to being I don't. There's still all these broken GeoCities sites. Just it's like waste.
And you can't DVR it either.
Right.
You gotta listen to it. You gotta pay attention now.
Yeah.
You can't listen to it later.
But that if I want to hear this again, I tune in at the same time.
Yeah, tune in next week, right?
Yeah. That's cool.
Okay. Let's see. We're gonna play that "Danced All Night with a Bottle in My Hand."
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Good vocalizations there, my man.
Thank you.
Oh, the old fiddle went out of tune a little bit, but that's okay. We'll keep that one.
Yeah, all the time.
That's right. Makes it sound old, right? Better than it sounds, as they say.
That's why I call Old Time Volume 1,000,000. Very good. Dance all night with a ball in my hand.
Yeah, the drinking in old time music, it used to be a real thing.
Not so much anymore?
No,
down?
well, because drinking isn't what it used to be,
Yeah.
as they say.
But weed in old time music now is on the upswing.
Oh, yeah.
My experience.
Well, weed's on the upswing
Yeah,
in
just
all
in general. Yeah.
things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, people are stoned who I never would have thought would ever get stoned.
Yeah.
Or getting stoned. That's quite amazing. I smoked quite a bit of weed when I was in high school. And then every job I had after that, till I retired, was a job that required drug testing.
Right.
I worked in a factory, worked in a testing lab, whatever. So I didn't have any for years and years and years.
Yes.
And then somebody gave me some. And hell, man, this is not like
It's not like it used to be.
No,
No.
man. I'm telling you, like your $20 lid of Mexican weed back in the day.
Yeah.
You could smoke half a bag and still walk down the street.
Yeah.
Man, now some of this stuff you take one hit and you're done. I can't see how there's potheads, because if you just smoke very much at all, you're catatonic.
I've heard I heard someone talking about how I think they were talking about Rastafarians and some Rastafarians saying yeah, I can't smoke weed like I used to because it is so powerful and so so genetically modified in the sense that it's bred.
Hybridized.
Yeah, hybridized,
right.
And it's I can't do this as a lifestyle thing anymore because I'll just be wasted all of the time, and it's sort of destroyed this sort of casual way of life kind of
there
style.
You go. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
And those guys do it as a religious thing too.
Right.
So they don't want to get totally crocked.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah. I heard that in Yemen that, I don't know if this is still the case because of the situation over there, but I heard that all of the men at 3 in the afternoon or so all chew on this narcotic leaf together.
Oh, I've heard of this leaf.
And then they just talk politics and religion for the rest of the day, while I'm assuming all of the women take care of the children and do housework or whatever. But that aside, the idea of this
We're gonna get some shade thrown on that comment, but
yeah,
just so you know.
Yeah, probably. I just whenever I hear about these I don't know, maybe the women have their own activities that they're partaking in that aren't
You're just digging a hole, dude.
yeah, all right, fair. But I like this idea of it's like drinking a coffee.
There you
this
go.
mild
have
mild
espresso
thing
or something.
that you just sort of relax
and facilitates conversation.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's something that I've appreciated about old time music and substances in old time music is that the difference between a festival where people are all participating and a festival where people are all consuming is that there's more consumption of substance and music at the festival where you go to see a bill.
Yes, for sure.
And so people because you don't have to be very lucid to sit there.
No, and there's nothing else to do.
Nothing else to do, and people get kind of shamefully intoxicated.
Yeah.
And it's are you even having a good time? But in old time music, there's a natural, limit. It's oh, I want to be able to play tunes all night, so I'm not going to I've heard stories about where obviously the line gets crossed all the time, but in my experience, it's this is people who are developing substance abuse problems because they have a stronger addiction of old time music.
Well, you've been cliffed up, I'm sure.
Yes.
So down in the bottom there,
That's mostly where I can.
See, that's where we have this expression for that area. We say that's where the hippies make their own gravy.
Right.
Because if it gets a little muddy down there, pretty soon everybody's kind of covered with hippie gravy.
Right.
And people are dancing in it and stuff.
Yeah.
You're not offended by that, are you?
Not
Okay.
not at all.
We look down. There's a different culture down there.
Yeah. Well, that's where the Cajun tent is too.
Of course.
So there's.
And those guys are completely out of control.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we used to do substance balancing, but our three substances were beer, coffee, and Copenhagen.
Yes.
So if you keep those in
Is
balance,
the Copenhagen? Is that the dip?
that's the dip. Yeah,
Oh.
and that's the most strongest of all the dips. And so, but if you keep that in perfect balance, it keeps you up, but you're drinking beer, so it kind of keeps you not too up.
Yeah.
And you can play for hours, and you play all night. Can not have any ill effects other than cancer later.
Yes.
But that's a long way in the future.
Right.
You put that off.
Yeah, that's the new thing now. Is like I want to play tunes for my whole life.
Right.
So how do I? Yeah.
Not die.
Not die.
In advance.
Yeah.
Right.
That's where I'm at right now. Yeah. Or the thing I'm working on now is I want to play tunes in a way that I won't get divorced.
Yeah.
So
right.
that's what
and behave in such a way
Yes.
that you won't get divorced.
Yeah. So
That's a good. It's always an admirable thing to
yeah.
shoot for.
Each generation is like a little more aspirational.
Before it was just not end up in jail.
Yeah.
So that's the earlier generations.
What else is on this G list? What we got
Well,
here?
let's see here. Let's G here.
Let's G here. Mandolin's going to get brought out at a certain point, but not quite yet. Oh, Leather Britches.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Now so John Lane said that this was a Missouri tune, but you think that it's not necessarily strictly from Missouri?
No, not at all. In fact, it's this tune is actually Lord Macdonald's reel. It's a Scottish tune.
Oh,
It's
interesting.
very old. It's 200.
Lord
Macdonald.
MacDonald
Macdonald's reel, and they play
had a serfdom.
That's right, and they play it up in Canada, big time. The Lord Macdonald's reel, and they play it in Scotland still. And it's definitely the same tune. You almost play the American version of Leather Britches right over the top of Lord MacDonald's.
Interesting.
Yeah, scope it out when you get, when you're on Spotify or something. Look up Lord MacDonald's reel. It'll be there somewhere, or look it up on YouTube.
That's edutainment right there. Very, very good.
Yeah, Lord MacDonald's reel. So, but that's one of the things I really liked about fiddling. That's one of the things that interested me too. Is I sort of right away, as soon as I started hearing it, I'd say there's more to this music.
Yes.
And so I got interested in the old tune collections and where did this tune come from? Is this a American tune? Because a lot of them are uniquely American.
Yes.
But a lot of them are. It used to be people that kind of made this assumption. Oh, that all of our tunes are from Ireland and Scotland.
Right.
No, a lot of them are composed here.
Yeah.
But a good deal of them, you can find an antecedent in Scotland or Ireland.
There's this one. Are you familiar with the Bayard?
Yeah.
Pennsylvania tune.
Right.
There's this one of the Sarah Armstrong tunes. Says Bayard says in the margins. I forget which tune it is. It may have been the Snouts and Ears of America. And in the margins, Bayard writes, "This is definitely from the Irish Washerwoman, but it is a superior version." That's what he says. He says, "This is the Irish Washerwoman, derived from that, but it is clearly a superior version." He says something like that.
Yeah.
I thought that was an interesting moment of ethnomusicology with a little bit of bias.
Editorializing.
Yeah, I kind of appreciated that.
Yeah, isn't that too? That's like the Irish Washerwoman in 2/4, isn't it?
Yes, because it's not a jig.
Right,
It's
it's not 6/8. Right?
Yeah, stately.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a march almost.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, what are we gonna play?
I already forgot.
Oh, Leather Britches.
Very good. Okay. Let's do it. Clean break. Let's start that Leather Britches when you're ready.
Okay, here we go.
little bit less notice that time.
Yeah, right. Snuck up on you.
Yeah.
You did okay.
Is that a Midwestern thing ending on the A?
A lot of the guys did do that in contests. I don't know why. Maybe just kind of restate the tune, at the end, play 1A part.
I think it kind of makes sense.
It does, yeah.
Sometimes when I'm playing, sometimes it seems arbitrary, ending it on the B. It's like, makes more sense to end on the A.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't do it at a dance, of course, because it depending on the dance.
Right.
But if it was a Western or Midwestern style square dance where it has to be even parts, 8 bars. But yeah, for contests, I always heard guys doing that in contests, especially ending on an A part.
Now, in my limited experience with square dancing, it seems like it doesn't always line up with like the B part with this part of the dance, and I never know is that because of the inexperience of the dancers and the caller just kind of going with it, or is that a different style of square dance?
You're talking about square dancing, not contra dancing, right?
I have very little experience with contra dancing, but...
Yeah, so square dancing, a lot of people traveling around calling square dances nowadays are calling Southern style squares. And so those aren't as hardcore about starting on... In fact, you don't even have to play a tune with even parts.
Right.
But in Western style, New England style, and certainly where I was growing up in Missouri, you needed a part, it had a very specific tune setup. It had to be A, B, B.
Yeah.
And had to come out because, the dance was built around that structure of the tune.
Yeah.
And that, in a sense, kind of told the dancers where they were, the tune, because a lot of the dancers knew the tunes as well as the fiddlers.
There's still a caller, though?
Yeah, there's a caller.
Yeah, but the dancers also know, they're actually listening to not just the beat, but to... Is this the high part? Is this the low part?
Oh, they know the tunes because somebody did dancing. Unless half of them might be players too,
Yeah.
But now, one thing you have in Missouri that I haven't seen anywhere else is to have the caller in the square.
Oh, very
Instead of the guy up on a mic, calling to a big auditorium. Yeah. You look out, there's 10 sets, and they're doing 10 different dances.
Interesting. Okay, so you have a square of 8.
Right.
Four couples, and one of the people in one of the couples is a caller.
Right.
So then you have like 10 different squares, and then each different square...
They could be doing a completely different dance.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I like to look out and see all these different dances being done, And then, but the thing you have to watch if you're playing, they like to just keep dancing. They'll dance you right into the ground.
Right.
So you have to keep your eye on them that they don't start another figure.
Right.
And if they do, you just stop because, I don't want to, I played for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Breakneck speed, I don't want to play for 25.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of keep an eye on them, but slip another dance in on you.
Very good. Because that's another thing is like speed in like Midwestern fiddling and dancing.
Right.
That's an impression that I get.
But especially the Ozarks. They played really fast. There was a guy down there named Bob Holt, who was particularly known for playing really fast. Like he would play 140 beats a minute, Whereas, a lot of people, if I go to some dance weekend or something we're playing, and they do a few squares, they'll want it like 110 beats.
Right.
Really slow.
Yeah.
And I think New England square dancing is probably in the 110, 120 range. That'd be the upper limit.
Yeah.
So 140 beats a minute is really freaking fast. Yeah. But it's really fun too.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's a different style of dancing entirely when you play that fast. But most of the guys didn't play that fast. They're just sitting around playing, tunes with each other. They wouldn't play that fast.
You want to get at that mandolin?
Sure. This mandolin thing is, I'm actually, I've got this YouTube channel.
Yes.
And you can just look up Charlie Walden on YouTube, or put in Charlie Walden Fiddle. And I've got like 2,500 videos already up there. And, but I'm trying to create some new channels. So I was going to create a channel. A buddy of mine down in Missouri, his name's Dennis Buchanan. He's got a brother named Kurt Buchanan. I don't know if you've ever heard of these guys, but they're kind of cubs, and I've played with them for years and years. And so, if I can just grab something here. This rubber horse mask.
Oh dear Lord.
with the mandolin. And And so I'm creating a new channel. Actually, by the time this podcast is released, this channel will be available. And the name of the channel, the guy on the channel, is called the Mando Mule.
Okay.
So so it's what it does. It gives me an excuse to wear this mask and play the mandolin at the same time.
Great.
So you want to give it a go?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So I've got this rubber horse mask here. You can kind of hear it there. Let me grab my mandolin. Make sure it's in tune here.
Not to make an ass of yourself.
No, I would never do that. I'm not that stubborn. Let's see. Yeah, it's in tune. Let's just see what happens.
Okay.
This is kind of an experiment because this channel's not on. I'm hoping to get it out by the first of the year, have a few things. I was thinking about doing a Christmas thing, like an Advent thing where every day the mule would play a different Christmas song on the mandolin. What do you think?
This is a very good idea.
So let's just see what happens here.
The friendly beasts.
Oh, there it is. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Can't breathe under there. I'm telling you, this is good. I've got quite a few. I've got about 500,000 views on my YouTube channel, but this is going to take off. This is viral. This has got viral potential.
Dear Lord. I don't
know where to go after that.
The T-Rex costumes are the big thing. So maybe
is that right? The mask.
Yes, that's the real viral thing. So it's a whole bodysuit.
Okay.
So I don't know if you could cut a hole so you could actually play an instrument.
Yeah. Oh, and the small arms too. Might be a problem.
You could do mandolin with it.
Oh, that's right. Or uke.
Uke.
With the small T-Rex arms. Yeah, that'd be tough. It's a good look though, isn't it?
It's very, very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're gonna see these videos once they get rolling. This whenever we travel a lot in the summer, So I'm gonna be crossing the Canadian border, and I'll jump out and do a tune. I'll be, some site, some Eiffel Tower. It could be anywhere.
I kind of wish you had a floppy-eared one.
The droopy ear horse,
Yeah. So you could play that tune. But okay, I need to get in. I think we're gonna go to C next.
Okay,
Let me get into C real quick. Is this your slow transition to coming out as a furry? So what's going on right now? This is the first step.
I'm not sure exactly what they are, but I've seen them mentioned. Well, wasn't the guy who was the press secretary for the current president? Don't they have a picture of him in a bunny suit? I think.
Sean Spicer?
Yeah, I think they have a picture. I think he was in at Easter. He was wearing a full-on bunny suit with a big head and stuff. No, I'm not kidding, man.
I did not see that.
That's out there.
Are you sure that was him and not Melissa McCarthy, or is it actually him?
No, I think it was actually him.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we'll have to Google that when we're done here and see if that's a real thing. What key are we in? We're in C. We're going to play the Wagoner.
Wagoner.
Okay, here we go. that follows along good up there, playing that high part on the banjo. Folks, he's a good banjo player.
I'll let you change your mind if you want after we re-roll the tape. It's good in the moment for us right now.
That's right. That's what all that really matters, right?
It's the best kind of self-indulgent music.
We could rename the show "Up in the Cruel."
Up in the Cruel. Oh, very good. Speaking of the cruel, I guess we're gonna play an F tune.
Right. I'm gonna play a tune.
Very cruel for banjo players.
Yeah. Now this is a tune called the New Boston Hornpipe. You can go. Oh, why don't you go ahead and retune there? Yeah. Okay. You know, the flat keys offer a lot of possibilities. I know a lot of people playing old-timey music don't often venture into the flat keys, you know, but there's a lot of great tunes in the flat keys. So
it makes me wish there was more pianos available.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, you need a piano accompaniment to make it really sound nice.
There's not one here. No, I don't think there is one here.
Do you play the piano yourself?
I do, yeah.
Oh, you do?
Yeah. If I had more opportunities, I could probably get pretty good at playing old-time piano.
I bet you could.
But they're not around.
Right.
I don't really want to play these keyboards.
Yeah.
Like, because that hurts my wrists when I play. Especially if I'm playing, like, rowdy.
Right.
Rowdy
That's not the same thing.
Yeah.
That's not the same thing.
If I did it professionally, like for dances, I would get it, you know. But...
Yeah, when my wife Pat and I play together, she plays the piano.
Oh, wonderful.
So it's always just fiddle and piano. We
Yeah.
can play somewhere for a dance or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah, it's great. It's the best accompaniment in the world.
Yeah. It's my favorite percussion instrument.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can really get something going with that thing.
Very much.
Okay, so let's see. So this is the New Boston Hornpipe. It's a Missouri tune. The only one guy I've heard play it is Niall Wilson. Who,
Oh, very good.
Yeah. Niall Wilson.
Tie Hacker tune #1.
He plays all
That's
those
the tune I
tie
know.
hacker tunes. Okay, okay, great.
It's the only one I know.
Yeah, no, but he had a wealth of tunes. I had never met Niall until the mid-'90s, and somebody told me about him. I went up and he just kept playing one tune after another I'd never heard of. It was really cool, and they're all like really close-in regional tunes.
Is he still around?
No, he passed away a number of years ago, but there's a CD of Niall, and also I work with the Missouri Fiddlers Association. We have a band camp site.
Very good.
Called Missouri State Old Time Fiddlers Association.
Right.
If you go look there, we've got 34 issues already. A lot of them are old cassettes that we used to sell in the 80s and 90s.
Very good.
That we digitized. But there's a recording of Niall there playing like 30 of these kind of really cool Midwestern tunes, but not ones you've ever heard before.
Cool. New Boston.
New Boston is a little town up in north central Missouri. Right. So this is the New Boston Hornpipe in F. See if we can get it going here. That's not an easy tune.
What a cute tune.
Yeah, it's a really bouncy,
Yeah.
happy tune, you know. And
what is it called one more time?
New Boston Hornpipe.
New Boston Hornpipe.
Yeah.
So hornpipe's a dance.
Yeah, I think it's like a solo foot dance. You know?
Is it also an object? It sounds like it's an object.
I'm not sure that. I think if you looked up hornpipe, probably you Wikipedia it, you'd find a thing that was called.
Turn
hornpipe.
safe search on, and then.
That's right.
Yeah,
Safe search. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. That reminds me. You know, I don't know if you remember. There used to be a thing, high density floppy disk called a zip drive. You ever hear of that?
Yeah, zip drive.
Zip drive. Right. Okay. Well, so I was at work once. I used to work at this testing lab in Skokie here, and a buddy of mine had one of these zip drives. We were trying to figure out how to format it or do something with it, you know. And I said, well, just look it up on the internet. The internet was, you know, not a lot of people were using the internet in 1995. You'd be surprised. It was still new to a lot of people, a first time thing. So we showed him how, and he typed in zip.com, and up comes like a midriff shot of a man unzipping his pants.
There you
So
go.
it was like, you know, an interesting alternative sexual site, you know, of some kind.
Yeah.
Zip.com.
Zip.com.
So
This is our plug for Zip.com.
so he really needed to be on iomega.com, I think, which is who manufactured the zip drive. Yeah, we're plugging the zip drive. I don't think they even exist anymore. But yeah, so you gotta watch. You gotta put on the safe search.
Yeah.
For sure, that was good advice.
Or
at all times.
don't.
Or don't. You never know what you're gonna get. Yeah, who'd have known Zip.com? Now everybody who listens to your podcast is probably randomly typing in Zip.com to see. I have no idea what's there now, you know.
Just follow the all included in the plugs. So,
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, we're plugging
Tap
Zip.com.
away. Yeah. Yeah, those early adopters, they got all those all those good URLs.
I know they scooped those URLs up. I wanted Coke.com so bad, man.
There's this podcast that I listen to, and one of the recurring segments that happens sometimes is they'll say something. They're like, I'm gonna search to see if that's a URL. And during one of them bought teamgoogle.com. They bought that URL, so now they own that. I don't know if they're doing anything.
So they parked it somewhere.
Yeah, and then on my other podcast, through an odd series of jokes, my co-host bought cowboybaby.org. And now we own that. So.
Well, you know, next time you go to your computer, type in Amazon.com really fast, and invariably you'll type in Amox with an X instead of a Z.
Yeah.
Amazox.
Right.
Amazon with an X. So I don't know if somebody owns that or not.
Well, that would be a good strategy.
For
You
sure.
buy that, and then Amazon wants to buy it from you.
Right, to keep, and you can put something really weird there, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, which that would be no problem for most people.
Yeah. Just look around.
Yeah, you just look at the name and try and find the letters next to it. There's a lot of clumsy typers out there.
You know what? I think, oddly enough, I think that may have been the last tune that we were planning on playing.
Sure.
Let's choose one tune. We don't have to prepare for it. Just any other
Cold.
tune.
Dead cold.
Do a cold tune, and then this will be our last tune. But before we go, YouTube, just search Charlie Walden,
That's right.
and
Charlie
I'll
Walden.
put a link in there.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Anything else we want to
Well,
mention?
then the mule playing the mandolin.
yes,
Mando Mule.
Mando Mule.
There's going to be a channel on YouTube. It's not up there yet.
Spread that around.
Spread that. You ought to spread that around like the bad virus that it is.
Yeah, very good. Cool. Let's break the internet with the Mando Mule.
That's right. That's
Very
right.
good. Do you got another F tune that you want to play?
Oh,
Since
yeah.
I'm in
Let's
F.
see. Now we can noodle just a little bit here.
Okay, sure.
See what I can find out with.
What's this tune?
Okay, so that's tune. You want another tune in F. That's kind of harkens back to what I was saying about the Victorian tunes. You know,
Yes.
That's a tune called the Constitution Hornpipe.
Oh.
Now, if you ever go to Boston, in the harbor there is parked the USS Constitution, which is a massive sailing ship from the 1800s, and So this tune is named after that, and it was in that book, Ryan's Mammoth Collection. It comes right out of there. And
So this is named after the boat, not after the document.
Constitution, right? Yeah, I think the boat was named after the document, probably.
Yeah, I would assume.
This was probably
Or
named
that.
for the boat.
Yeah. Okay.
All
Very
the
good.
sailors out there, it's a ship, really. It's
Okay.
not a boat.
Excuse me, Charlie. It's been so delightful having you on the
Thanks,
show.
man. It's been a
Yeah.
blast.
Let's do it again sometime.
Sure.
Cool.
But not too soon.
Not too soon.
All right.
We'll have a retrospective and talk about how well Mando Mule.
how it's
Yeah.
You can. We'll have a podcast in my new home in Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
After Mando Mule takes off.
All sorts of product placements. Yeah. Happy Jack.
Happy Jack. Okay, cool.
Happy Jack.